this is your boy Omega from the Omega 13th Dimension Podcast, and today's guest is a fan by the name of Pharos Anonymous. And I hope you enjoy this episode as much as me recording it. Enjoy. Hello, welcome to the Omega 13 Podcast. I am Omega, General and Protector, as well as the host of the Omega 13 Podcast. And today we have our guest, Pharos Anonymous. Is that right?
Yes.
And Pharos, is okay you can introduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely. What's going on, guys? Pharos Anonymous coming at you live. I'm mainly known for making beats on music on Pharos Anonymous at Bandcamp. The music I make is heavily inspired by Kendrick Lamar, Kanye West, Daft Punk, and heavily inspired by Joji, and of course Kiriyama Oka, who is the composer of the Silent Hill soundtrack. And I'm also a big fan of anime, mecha anime, you name it. I'm a big fucking weeb, dude. I love
Yeah, same
hentai. I love hentai, all that shit, man. I'm a degenerate fuck. So how's it going, Omega?
I'm fine, dude. You just surprised me for a bit. I was kind of like off guard, like, whoa, you want it right now? Okay, I'm going to be busy so next week, so might as well get this going, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just that I love making music and producing music so much. It's sort of like people have their passions,
Yes,
they want
I
to
understand.
pursue different things, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to pursue those things. But we're not here to talk about music unless you want to. Let's talk about anime, man. Let's go. So what anime have you been watching?
I've been basically watching some old stuff here and there, some old vintage anime like Voltes 5 or various Gundam shows. But I probably won't have time for that. Huh? UC, yes.
UC Gundam?
Yeah,
Hell
big
yeah,
fan of that. But I started with After Colony or the Wing series. So, yeah, I watched it since 98. I started with 98. I started at 98 when Gundam Wing came on Cartoon Network.
Oh my god, you're way older than me. Holy shit. I'm only 21.
I'm 28.
Whoa!
About a 6 years difference, dude.
Fuck. I think I'm gonna answer one of your questions that you asked Super Robot Wars D, like how I got into Mecha, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, I'm perfectly cool with that, yes.
Alright, so how I got into Mecha is a really long, a big question, because for me, as a child, I think you can relate to this. I was a big fan of tokusatsu shit. So 1954's Godzilla, Super Sentai, most specifically Power Rangers here in the States, as you know. I grew up with Power Rangers, Time Force, Lightspeed Rescue, Dino Thunder. That was my shit, man. I loved it so much. For me, being Latino and growing up in the ghetto, I'm sure you can relate to that. Where you ask your mom, like, mommy, can I have these Power Rangers toy? Because I'm a good little boy. No, exactly, bro.
No, don't you know we're kind of struggling right now?
Exactly, man. It sucked, but through a while, that was it. A couple of years later,
you grew out of it.
I grew out of it, but I wasn't super into anime. There was animated shows I loved.
Yeah.
I was a big fan. I know it's not technically an anime, but fuck you. Avatar: The Last Airbender is the shit. I will. Thank you.
It is. Still is.
Fuck yeah. Zuko's the best character. We won't have this argument.
Zuko, I like all of them. Toph, Zuko.
Yeah. But yeah, I was super into that. And then as I got older, I got more exposed to anime from Hayao Miyazaki with movies like Kiki's Delivery Service, Princess Mononoke.
Oh, that's some shit right there.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. That's the good shit. And then I was
Sky.
Really good. Oh, dude, classic. Then I got introduced. A really good friend of mine introduced me to some more anime, such as Maruka. I was a big fan of Maruka at the time. Still am, not as much.
Yeah.
But how I got into Mecha was a really good friend of mine kept recommending me the show. I was like, I guess I'll watch it, because I want to watch Cowboy Bebop. And I went to Kiss Anime. I type in the show, and then I hear the opening, where A Cruel Angel's Thesis just starts blasting into my ears.
Evangelion.
And I think Fuck yeah. I got into Mecha through Ava.
Yeah,
Ava is a very personal show for me.
yeah.
I was like, oh man, this is really cool, Mecha. And then because of Evangelion, I started watching Big O. I was like, yo, Big O's the shit, man.
Yeah,
And then afterwards, I started watching Aim for the Top Gunbuster, which I'm
I
sure you're
got that
familiar
on
with that,
video.
right?
I got that on home video.
Fuck yeah, dude. And I was like, dude, fuck yeah. And then in my room when no one was looking around, please note, I was 19 at the time. I just graduated high school. You see this kid going like Inazuma kick, dude. Like I was all about that.
Yeah,
Then I discovered Super Robot Wars D's channel. Shout out to him, man.
yeah,
Big
he is.
shout out
He's an
to him.
awesome dude. He helped me a lot with the podcast and everything, dude.
Yeah, dude, awesome. And then I started watching his Mecha Talk series. And I was like, oh my god, there's more mecha shows. Oh
Yes,
my
there are.
god. And then like remember, I'm a young dude. I haven't seen every mecha show
Yeah,
in the planet. So like right now I'm like very excited because I love talking about mecha, man.
same
I
here,
love
dude.
talking about this stuff.
I love
So yeah,
robots in general, man. You came to the right
yeah, me
place.
too. But when I discovered his videos, there was this one video I watched where he was like, "Welcome to Mecha Talk. We're going to be talking about Space Runaway Ideon." I was like, "Whoa, Space Runaway Ideon, what is this?" And it featured Zeta Rise, and they talked about like how like it was like the space opera,
Yeah,
but it had like imagine spiral energy from Gurren Lagann, but it's like
yeah,
this anonymous thing that can destroy the universe. And like
yeah,
I was like, you know what, D, I'm gonna watch this show. So I watched it and loved it.
yeah,
Watching like Be Invoked
yeah,
was is a masterpiece. It straight up is,
yeah,
and I it was just so cool seeing it because when you watch Be Invoked and you compare it to EOE, the end of Evangelion,
yeah.
they have so much similarities, and you can tell director Hideaki Anno was
Was
so
influence.
influenced by this show. And by
Yeah.
the way, I'm a huge Hideaki Anno fan. I can talk about Anno for
Shin Godzilla.
hours. Oh, dude, yeah. Hold up. I have something here.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm sure you're not going to show this, but
yeah.
this is the Japanese import of the Hideaki Anno live action collection.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. It has English subtitles in it and
Dude,
everything.
how you ordered that from Amazon Japan? You had to pay expensive shipping for that crap.
Hey, man, stimulus check money. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes with these movies like Love and Pop and
Yeah.
like Shigi Jitsu.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm not showing that. And then like Cutie Honey.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not here. We'll talk about Anna at some point in the podcast if you're down.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I became a big fan of Yoshiki Tomino, and so I started watching Universal Century 0079. I was like,
Yeah.
this is amazing because
Yeah.
like the relationship between Char and Amuro is so good. And
Yeah.
you see like how these two, Char and Amuro, started these trends. And the reason why that relationship works so well is because Amuro is thrust into a world he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Whereas Char is like this Chad who knows what he's doing.
Mhm.
And then throughout 79 and in Zeta Gundam, you see that Amuro is still sort of immaturing and has so much emotional baggage he doesn't know how to deal with because he's a new type.
Yeah.
But in Zeta Gundam, you see Char becomes Quattro Vagina, and well, yes, he's still scarred from the war of Lala's death and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He still like is willing to move forward, even though. Have you ever read the book Char's Iliad Affair?
No, heard about it though.
Okay, so what happens in that? So that book explains why Char and Haman Karn became who they became.
Yeah.
So Char gets involved with this woman,
Mm-hmm.
and carries his child, and then someone shoots like the girl and his unborn child straight up, and that like fucks him up, and so he like Sora takes Camille as this pseudo like his son basically in Zeta Gundam basically.
Yeah.
But at the end of Zeta, due to Camille basically being brain raped by Shirako in the final confrontation, he becomes a vegetable. And so, like, when you get to Char's counterattack, the roles are reversed.
He becomes a villain because he had enough.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, Char is this emotional, delusional man, whereas Amuro's like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, that's so cool. And then, like, Man, I just love Mecha, man. Like, I'm all about this
same here,
shit.
dude. But let me tell you something. You're like one of the
Go for
only
it, man.
young guys that appreciate older anime. Because the kids
I
your age, like saying,
I
like,
love old anime.
like basically, like, oh my god, this is so old. Why it looks ugly, dude? It's called budget, age and
Like,
budget, my friend.
right now on my shelf, right now, I'm staring at it right now. I can't grab it; it's so far away.
Yeah,
I see my old 2000 copy of Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue and Millennial Actress staring
nice.
right at me.
So I need to get into
I love
Satoshi
Satoshi
Kon.
Kon.
They don't make stuff. They don't make stuff like that anymore.
I think the reason why they don't make stuff like that is just because I think a bunch of auteurs, like, okay, so we're gonna get into like sort of like why the mecha genre is
Go ahead, right ahead, dude. Go right ahead.
Okay,
let's go.
I think D talked about this and like why there isn't enough original mecha content, and I think the reason why that is, please know, I am not an insider. I'm a fan.
Same
so
here.
Like, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Yeah.
I think the reason why that is because a bunch of people who make these mecha anime are like me. They grew up with shows like Evangelion,
Gundam,
Aim for the Top,
Macross,
Gundam, Macross.
We don't talk about Harmony Gold or Robotech here.
Oh, dude, Harmony Gold can go suck a dick. Fuck
big time.
Fuck it. I haven't even seen Macross, and I need to. I know I'm slacking. I know.
It's a drama,
But,
though,
like,
so I'm just warning you.
Oh, I'm sure. It seems to be like it's a space opera, but with like here's some hot waifus in it. Ooh, let me go get my lotion and But like, yeah, and I think that they're so influenced by the show. Like, take for example, like Darling in the Franxx.
Yeah.
When I was watching it, to me, it's a boring show.
Yeah.
And it's just these guys who grew up with stuff that were created by old Gynax vets, like I said before, Gunbuster, Royal Space Force, so on and so forth. They just took those elements and be like, well, if we just copy those elements, it will be successful, and not understanding why those elements work. Like, okay, let's take the protagonist Hero. Hero is not an interesting protagonist. Yeah. He's not. He's very much like everything like okay. For me, to make a character interesting, they have to have a needs and wants. So I think, for example, what makes Shinji interesting, like as a compelling character, is that he doesn't love himself.
He has emotional baggage.
He asks the love. Exactly. So he always asks the loves for other people, and like he can't, like, in order to love someone, you have to love yourself, and that's why like his relationship with Kaoru wouldn't work, because Kaoru was unconditional love and just gave him unconditional love, and that's the whole through line of Evangelion in general. Like, everyone running away from their problems with Asuka, Rei, and Masato. Hero is just boring because all he wants to do is fuck Zero 2. That's the whole plot. Boring. And it's just not. It's not interesting. Yeah, it's not interesting. It's not compelling.
But let me tell you something. You heard of Getter Robo, right? How it influenced Gurren Lagann, but people still don't check out Getter Robo. If you want to check out Getter Robo, go on Retro Crush. For those who don't want to torrent, or go on the internet and watch Shin Getter Robo. That's a good starting point of the series. So basically, it's this over-the-top, hot-blooded action.
Yeah.
And despite Nagane being like a hot-blooded dude and whatnot that's wandering through life because he's a drifter before he got into like Getter Robo, before he gets involved with the Getter race and whatnot, after he got his revenge from the people who killed his father. It's after you got revenge, so you'd be like, now what? So he drifts around collecting going around like collecting debt, not like growing debt. Like, his debt keeps growing. He has nowhere to go because he's lost. And then over time, he started to invest in, like, due to the teamwork of Jin and forgot the other guy's name. They began to like shape they changed their life to defend the human race, from dinosaurs to Aldrich's abominations from Lovecraft.
That sounds pretty legit. I'm not gonna lie. I should probably watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, anyways, I want to get into the topic of the mecha genre being dead.
Go ahead. I want to hear your voice.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. You're good, man. I think what Gigic and Glass Reflection are trying to say, this is just my interpretation, is that in the realm of animation, mecha is not as mainstream. And they do have a point. I begrudgingly, there is some grain of truth to that. Because I think isekai is more popular in the realm of animation. Idols are more popular
in Japan.
And honestly, that kind in Japan, and it's not only that. Like mecha shows, I think you touched on this 2 podcasts ago. Like mecha shows are just fucking expensive. Like let's be real here; they're really expensive.
Sakuga, the mecha designer. Plus, it busts with mecha. It's like, and it's underneath a genre called adventure and action, which they don't do anymore or rarely do. It's like
it's also that
they don't make adventure shows anymore because, like you said, it's money, and money.
Mm-hmm. I also think that because like mecha is a subgenre of science fiction. And like science fiction, from where I'm standing, seems to be doing well, but I feel like that's not super mainstream.
Yeah.
I can't speak much because I don't have numbers with me. I'm just a fan, so I can't speak on that. And like so yeah, I don't know. Like it's weird, but at the same token, mecha is doing really well with video games. There's a lot of good mecha video games.
Yeah.
Would you care to me to list them off?
We don't. It's going to take all night if you do that. But let's list some. Titanfall 2, Hardcore Mecha. What's that one game? Astro Breed, BattleTech.
BattleTech, yep.
I already list Hardcore Mecha, Super Robot Wars, Armored Core.
English translations, yep. Gundam versus Gundam Extreme versus Maxi.
Exactly, I got that on PS4. Play it all the time.
I know. I guess it doesn't count. Well, actually, it does count. Nintendo with Xenoblade. There's Xenoblade Chronicles, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and not to mention there's Horizon Zero Dawn, mecha expansions to Final Fantasy 14 because you could make your own mecha. Yeah. And that's not going over Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Metal Gear Solid V, The Phantom Pain, and a little game. Literally the best game Square Enix published last decade, Yoko Taro's Nier Automata.
Yeah,
I mean that's
mecha.
Yeah, like I mean to the point where people were mad that game was not nominated in the Game of the Year awards. So I don't know what he's talking about.
I know he screwed up. He dropped the ball on that one because I got Nier Automata on my shelf.
It's such a good game, man.
Exactly. Yes, I need to get back into it though, because I got it when I was working at McDonald's, and boy, that job sucked.
Oh, hey, man, you just hustling, man. You just trying to make a living. I get it. I
quit. Late nights, I just quit after 7 months.
Right.
They did not want me to go, but I had enough.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like. Yeah, that's life. If you're not happy at that job, go find a different job. Like, fuck these corporations.
Exactly. Don't care about me. But that's life. But the reason why this is the most time I managed to collect anime because I give McDonald's thanks for it. Not just because of the job skills, but also it gave me a collection of video games and a collection of anime that I dreamed of having. I also want to have like an anime collection. Now I do.
I mean, you kind of remind. Speaking of anime, what have you been watching? Like, is there any directors you follow, stuff like that?
I'm busy with life, but by chilling. But don't tell anyone that. But I've been watching the directors I've been following. I don't follow to a director, you might say. But you ever heard of Katajiri?
He sounds familiar. What's
Scroll, Vampire Hunter D,
okay. Yeah.
Bloodlust, which I love those 2 works. I got those on my shelf as well.
I remember me seeing the original Vampire Hunter D in theaters. That was really cool.
Yeah, the one that's black, the one that's in the 80s. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
that
follow
that thing
any
is
other director,
gorgeous.
but
Mm,
character designers I follow. I kind of like a couple of them, but I cannot
mm-hmm.
list them on top of my head right now.
That's fine.
But I still got anime I need to collect, like basically Serial Experience Lane, Techno Lies. What's that other one? Hanabe Ranme. I got a whole
Mm-hmm.
couple more. There's Satoshi Kon work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go
This is
over
a this
what
is a
I've
person.
been watching.
This is a person that needs to still collect, that has some Mazinger Kaiser SKL and Getter Robo Shin and Armageddon on his collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, going back to our previous topic, for me, what I watch, I mainly follow auteurs. So, like, recently I've been watching all of Hideaki Anno's works.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put this, he's a really good director.
Exactly.
A really good director. I think that this is a hot take. I think the rebuilds of Evangelion are not very good, in my opinion. To me, it feels like Anno is just doing them because Evangelion is popular. Like, let me emphasize this.
Yeah.
I would say Evangelion is as popular as Gundam or Dragon Ball Z worldwide.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's just doing this to form Suyokara.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link because on YouTube right now you can watch his movie Love and Pop, which I highly recommend if you like Evangelion and the end of Evangelion.
Mm-hmm.
The movie is about these high school girls who are call girls, and it's really interesting because he I know I'm not making any sense.
Yeah.
But like he's such a talented director, and like when you compare Shin Godzilla to Evangelion 3.0,
I prefer Shin
Shin
Godzilla.
Godzilla is more it's more interesting because
it doesn't
I
tend
feel
to
like Anno is
focus on
having more fun directing it.
a break. Because with Evangelion, it's like a guy who he hates his job and he has to do it, and he's taking his sweet little time because he doesn't want to do it. And that's just the English dub. But the production-wise, it is a nightmare because basically, like he said, he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
It got him depression. It almost got him into super depression mode till Shin Godzilla got him out of it.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I think he's a very talented director.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you love Evangelion, please, I implore you, audience, go watch his other stuff because he's such a talented director.
Yeah.
And another director I've been watching is Tomino. Actually, hold up. Let me get to my shelf. Yeah, I've been watching G-Reco. I imported the Japanese movie of G-Reco. And honestly, I like G-Reco. It's weird. I will admit it's weird. But I think the main reason why I like it a lot is that it's really charming. It has a lot of personality and character. When I compare it to something like Iron Blooded Orphans, and don't get me wrong, I like Iron Blooded Orphans, but it feels very. The mecha designs are really fucking good in Iron Blooded Orphans, but like it's very like it kind of feels like the same old Gundam show to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like to me, like I really like how Tomino is trying to do something different.
Yeah.
It's interesting and weird. I will admit it's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited where Tomino takes it to the third movie of G-Reco. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
Because a fun fact, I'm weird. My favorite Gundam series is Turn A Gundam.
Wow,
Yeah,
I never heard about that one. It has a good storyline to it. I'm just going to watch it again just for the story. But also reminds me of something. You ever heard of the obscure Gundam entries like Gaia Gear, which is like the first of the future Gundam series, like beyond the Universal Century, to the point it's obscure because basically it was not supposed to be like a Gundam series like G-Reco. It's Gundam, but it's not part of the Gundam series originally. What I heard, it's like he wants to do something new with it. And even though Gundam's in the backstory of this whole science fictional adventure, that's what's his original focus. Probably due to like the sponsors and Sunrise Sound telling Tomino, please Tomino, we must add a Gundam into this. You must add somewhere with the Gundam in the title. That's why you have G. Because normally the original focus is, even though it's a Gundam work, but he wants it to stand out because he wants to like branch out. He's probably tired of doing Gundam and being known for the series, which I don't blame him.
I think when you look at Tomio's discography, this guy is old. He worked on the old 1950 like Astro Boy. You get to work with Osamu Tezuka. Like this guy's been around the block. When I compare his older works like 79, Zeta,
Zambot 3,
Ideon, Zambot 3, stuff like that, he seems like a lot of his older work seems to be heavily inspired by the Cold War, Vietnam, World War II, which makes sense. Like, for example, like Ideon is a big allegory of the Cold War because it's two superpowers. Like, for example, like the Buff Clan has a shit ton of mecha to throw at the Ideon, but the Ideon's like this godlike mecha, and then it's the entire universe going, oh fuck, they're going to destroy us, and they do blow up the universe.
Yeah.
But when you compare Tomino's newer works like Turn A Gundam, for instance, Turn A Gundam is a weird show because to me, it seems like Tomino isn't. Yes, he is interested in the political drama things, but he's interested in the smaller details. Like for instance, like in the first, like how Turn A Gundam starts, it literally just starts with Loran Sehak taking a shower in the river and then going to a bakery and then talking to his friends. And it's a very relaxed, chill Gundam series. I mean, you see the Turn A Gundam doing becoming a washing machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because for me, that adds emphasis to and like it's really cool. Honestly, I would love for Yoshiki Tomino to just do like, hey, here's the road, except it's Gundam. I'd be like, that'd be fucking legit, dude. I'm down for that.
Imagine a Gundam series that doesn't take place during a war, and what will happen? The Gundam's doing like these mundane, pal labor like things, like helping them do like doing construction work or taking care of the laundry or helping with trade ships, protecting trade transports.
Yeah, to me, that's really cool. And by the way, you just mentioned Pat Labor. Yo, Pat Labor is fucking legit. I love Pat Labor. It's so, man, that's another mecha series that people need to watch. It's
exactly,
especially the OVAs. I like the OVAs.
Same
more.
Here. I got the OVAs. But see, I like how the robots are with that series. Like, with the enjoyment of those OVAs, I kind of like how the insides of the robots function and whatnot. I love doing that. It's like my take. I like how I'm an artist at times, an amateur one, but I like how the optical works, how the machines bend their hands and arms, how they move.
For sure.
That's one of the reasons why I love the real robot genre. A super robot, the real robot genre is more political, but I love its machines because it's like tools.
Yeah, no,
and it focuses more on the character. While a super robot show, it's basically the robot's a character as well, and the main human characters are the side guys that help push the plot forward. For sure.
Since you brought up Mecha, what are your favorite Mecha designs?
My favorite Mecha designers are Soji Katamori, Kunio.
No, I mean like robot, like genuine robot works. Like let's say like
Gundam, Macross, Gator Robo, Armored Core.
I'm talking about like, what's your favorite Mecha design?
Like my favorite Mecha design has to be the Valkyrie, the VF1 Valkyrie from Macross. It's very iconic, as well as the various mobile suits. But my favorite one is RX-78, something basic as well. Even something basic
as you like the Granddaddy Gundam.
Yes. Also love the Barbados, the Wing Zero, the Mazinger Z, and Great Mazinger.
Those are iconic. Those are very iconic men.
The Zaku 2, the Mecha Beast.
Zakutu is so cool, man. For me, my favorite mecha designs are. I love the artist of Metal Gear. So like, I love Metal Gear Sahelanthropus from Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
That one's such.
Soji
I
Shirakawa.
forgot his name. I
Yeah,
think so.
that's not it though.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also love Sadamoto, who is the main mechanical designer of Evangelion, because I'm
Character
a big
designer too.
Eva fan. Yeah, character
Love his
designer
work.
too. He's a amazing artist, just amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm also a big fan of the my favorite mobile suit design. Again, I'm weird. My favorite mobile suit design is the Turn A Gundam, designed
How
by Sid
unique it
Mead.
is. Yeah, how unique it is.
Yeah, it's so. I just think it's so
Unique.
cool.
Yeah.
It's unique, and not only that, like I think Sid Mead is just an amazing mechanical designer. Rest in peace.
Yeah. But also,
Um,
let me tell you something
yeah.
with Sid
Go
Mead.
for it, man.
You ever heard the rumors that they tried to make a Hollywood adaptation of Gundam in the 80s and Sid Mead was supposed to be part of that?
Yeah,
So that's how he got heard of Gundam.
true.
That's how
That's true,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. So Tomino was a fan of his work. So hey, do you want to do I want to do Gundam. I'm a big fan of your work. And then Sid Mead said, "Okay, I'll do it." I'm surprised Tomino never heard
Yeah.
of that rumor. They tried to make it a Hollywood adaptation until Sunrise says,
I think I'm sure he was aware of it, but I'm sure he couldn't do much about it because he's the creative force. He's
Yeah.
not the dude in the business suit, so I'm sure
Yeah.
he was aware of it.
Mhm.
But speaking, there's something I want to talk about. Your last podcast, we had a Super Robot Wars D and Kaiser.
"Yeah,
I had so much fun listening to that podcast because hearing that story where Kaiser went into the Toho office
yeah,
and him fanboying out was so fun that I paused the podcast, right,
Mhm.
and went into my phone and listened to the old 1970s Devilman opening.
Yeah.
So I was in my room just like I'm 21 years old and I'm like dancing to like Devilman, being like, yo, devil chop, devil kick. And then afterwards I popped in the original Mazinger opening. And then I was like, breast of fire! Because I'm a fucking chibi,
yeah,
and I'm a fucking weeb. But like, for me, it's so cool to meet other mecha fans because when I was in high school, which was like 3 years ago,
Yeah.
mecha is not popular. It's not like
it's not.
with people in high school right now. What's popular right now is Makoto Shinkai. Like, by the way, I am a big fan of Shinkai's work.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, but really, like, no disrespect, but one thing I give him. Let me tell you this: his
Go for it, man.
backgrounds. Look how the backgrounds look. They're just amazing looking. And yes, I watch your Shinkai-like movies for a guilty pleasure, just to pass the time. But I'm mostly into like action shows or really stuff with really good writing.
That's fine. That's completely fine. People have their preferences.
And I'm not a guy who likes fan service, except High School DD.
High School DxD is really good.
Yeah.
But like, now you open a rabbit hole. Now I want to talk about Shinkai. For me, something that I hate when it comes to discussion about Shinkai, I hate when people compare him to Miyazaki, because I don't think that.
No offense.
I don't think that's fair. No, I don't think that's fair because to me that's such a backhanded response.
Yeah.
Because I want Shinkai to
be his
Shinkai.
own dude.
Exactly. Are you a big hip hop fan? Out of curiosity.
I'm not the big fan of hip hop, but basically I prefer the beats and whatnot. But I'm not a big fan of hip hop though.
So I'm going to use a comparison that people like to throw around in the world of rap.
Mhm.
I hate when people compare Kendrick Lamar to Tupac. Because to me, I'm like, Kendrick Lamar is Kendrick Lamar, and Tupac is Tupac. Separate those two. And to me, like, it's similar with Shinkai Miyazaki. I just want Shinkai to be Shinkai and to do his thing.
Yeah.
I will admit, Your Name is not a masterpiece. It's not.
Yeah,
there's a lot of problems with it. But for me, it's really charming. It is. It's such a charming movie. And you can tell the people who worked on it believed in it and put their heart and soul into it. And so for me, it's hard for me to hate it because it's just so charming. And it's like, oh man, for example, like 2020. 2020 is a shit year, my guy.
Yeah,
Awful
screw
year.
that. Screw this year. Worst year of my life.
Yeah, so like sometimes I just want to pop in a nice feel good movie. But
Yeah.
yeah. But anyways, back to Mecha. Yeah, like in high school I was the weird guy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this one
Everyone's
time I was having a discussion. Oh, sorry.
It's like everyone likes the My
I'll
Hero
continue.
Academia, the Demon Slayer,
Yeah.
which I kind of grew out of shonen because it's like the same old plot threads over again. Because I love my shonen like Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, old school Dragon Ball.
Man, Yu Yu Hakusho, that's a classic right there.
Yes. Better than Dragon Ball Z.
And honestly, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to what I was saying. Like I was always given the weird look. I remember I was having this discussion with an old friend of mine. He was like, "Hey, Pharos, have you seen Sword Art Online?" I'm like, "No, but have you seen Perfect Blue?" He's like, "What the fuck is Perfect Blue?" I'm like, "Okay, have you seen Evangelion?" "What the fuck is Evangelion?" "Have you seen Mobile Suit Gundam?" "What the fuck is a Gundam, you fucking idiot?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry."
Damn,
And
he
then
must be in a bad mood.
Yeah, and then he'll talk about Attack on Titan for 40 hours. I'm like, that Attack on Titan is just a mecha show, dude.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan has a lot of mecha elements into it.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, like how the Titans work is kind of reminds me a lot of like mecha and like just like Super Sentai in general.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I imagine Eren in Attack on Titan to go, "Access! Flash!" like in Gridman, dude.
Yeah. You took your Ultraman, Ultraman, you turned to a Titan, but yeah, with the mainstream anime fandom, I'm like kind of like disconnected and whatnot. Like, come on, there's other shows like come on, bro, you're not even in the rabbit hole. It's like super boring. It's like with terms with like you're an artist or a musician and you try to recommend somebody in your field, an obscure but good artist, but that person says, "Dude, you should check out this guy's new mixtape." Like he tried to pretend listening to you, but don't get me wrong, I do that at times. But if he bugs me enough, I'll check it out. And sometimes I get recommendations by that. Like, fine, I'll just check out this stupid. Why it's so popular? Oh, this is not bad.
Yeah, going back to the anime community, I think like anime is mainstream. Like, let's just be real.
Exactly.
It's mainstream.
Like it or not.
And and with that comes a big audience.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot harder to appease to anime fans. Like, I know we don't like Giga, but I think he made a video where he was like, back in the early 2000s, you were like, "Hey, you got into anime? Okay, you watch Akira, you watch Evangelion, you watch Cowboy Bebop, you watch Fullmetal Alchemist. All right, cool. All right," and that was the norm. Yeah. But now, thanks to the internet and all this stuff and import, like for example, I'm importing anime right now.
Yeah.
And it's because anime is so global. It's like it's basically a free for all. Like it's crazy.
Harder to market.
It is, and I would argue that the mainstream anime industry reminds me a lot of the mainstream gaming industry in that, like, how bloated it is.
Yeah.
It's really bloated. And for me, it's a lot harder to find the shows I can get behind personally.
Same here.
But I'm not gonna shit talk on modern day anime because
it's getting old.
That's not my thing.
Yeah. I'm not like the anime snob, even though I like some of his work, but really, dude, it's getting tiresome and old now. It's the mainstream. People can have their mainstream stuff, and people can have their niche stuff. I'm in the middle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to ask me what was my favorite anime of last decade, aside from Madoka, I would probably say Planet With.
I love Planet With, dude.
Yeah, dude, it was so good, wasn't it?
So good because it's unique as hell, man. It was fun to watch, but that creator's work is underrated. The Biscuit Hammer, love that stuff.
I need to read it. Can you get that shit get that
Yes,
stuff
you can.
officially in the States?
Yes, you can.
Oh, so I don't
Amazon
need to
it.
pirate it?
Nope, you can
Okay.
you can buy the series on Amazon.
Oh, sick. Because I'm still waiting for an official American release on Planet With.
Yeah,
Part of me
same
is
here,
just thinking
dude.
about. I'm thinking about just importing it off of CD Japan, honestly.
Okay. Hey, are you a big fan of games as well, or just anime in general?
Oh, dude, no, I love video games. Recently, what I've been playing, I'm a huge Persona fan. Hey, Fatal Fury, SNT, right?
SNK.
SNK, right?
It's the official
Exactly.
manga of SNK, and I got this hat. Sometimes I wear it outside
Nice.
because I'm a
Nice.
huge fan of SNK's
Terry
works.
Bogard, my boy.
The official and Neo Geo Mini.
Hell
Dude,
yeah.
it's
That's
like the
what's
only
up.
company I actually like a fanboy to because they treat their not an SNK, even though they're like not as big as in the '90s. They treat their fans with respect and they actually care about their fans.
I've noticed that.
Yeah,
I'm not into that, sadly. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Mainly because there's so much content out there. I
yeah.
get distracted.
hmm
But like, yeah, like they really, the people behind that they really passionate, and it's pretty fucking sick. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Sadly, because I'm a fucking degenerate, I'm a big Persona fan.
Don't blame me. I love
And Shin
Persona.
Megami
Love Persona
recently
4. I finished 5 though,
yeah,
but I love 4 more. And
nice.
3, I love that. You know, let me tell you a story how I got into 3. I was a late night
Go
one
for it,
day
man.
on my PSP, and I said, I want to try this out.
sure.
I want to try this out. So it's like late 10 o'clock at night. I turned it on,
Right.
and I was hooked to the game. You know why? Because one of its elements is like Tartarus takes place at night. And I was playing the
Right.
game at night. So I was easily invested in the game because of the whole plot and the setting when I played the game. So it
For sure,
easily
for
made me. I thought it would be a horror game. To be honest, I thought it would be a horror game.
For sure. For me, like Persona 3 was sort of like my first game,
Same here.
and for the reason why I loved Persona 3 so much was like it when compared to Persona 4, 3 is a very melancholic, very depressing game.
Dark.
It is because the whole theme of it is that you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And like anyone who's listening to this, spoilers, the protagonist dies. And
Yeah.
I really like how they handled that, memento mori, remember that you are immortal, remember that you are going to die, and how I really loved how every character in the game was affected by death, and I think that was really cool.
Yeah.
I played it when I was 13, so like
Damn.
you know how like,
13.
yeah, I'm young, dude. I'm
Like,
young,
I don't get
dude.
flew over your head. Like, cool game. Like, why the main
No,
character's dead?
for me, no, for me, I think every 13-year-old nowadays is super suicidally depressed. I
Damn,
think, yeah, no,
yeah.
for sure. So like for me, it was the perfect game for me, and like I just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I can talk about Persona 3 for hour and 4 and 5
I
for
love
hours.
4. I love 4 to death. 4
4
is
is
like your
great.
chill
4 is
game,
amazing.
but I prefer the slow parts than the action parts. Don't get me wrong, I prefer the slow parts of Persona
For sure,
games,
sure.
but with 3, like you said, do you remember what you said about every teenager these days are like suicidally depressed or have mental issues?
Every teenager is literally a cast member from Evangelion nowadays. Like
Yeah.
every teenager is either Asuka or Shinji. That's just a fact,
Yeah.
bro.
Yep, internet doesn't help you sometimes. Because mostly all these
It
social
doesn't.
norms, like basically it doesn't replace actual like human social skills. I'm autistic, and it took me a while to talk to people, and they don't have much imagination either. It's just me on bet, like saying like, "Get off my lawn. I'm an old man," and the like,
Right.
But sometimes I just feel bad for these kids on TikTok and whatnot. It's like, to me, it feels empty and fake.
I think me and a couple of friends, we're talking about this, and how like we're gonna talk about Metal Gear because Metal Gear's the shit.
Yeah.
And how like Kojima predicted the future with Metal Gear Solid 2,
Yeah.
and how he was like the internet is gonna portray like all this information, and I was like, holy shit, he was so right about it.
It flew over my head when I played it as a kid. And with drones.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, this guy just predicted the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
And I feel like the same thing happened with. Oh, continue. I'm sorry.
That one. What's that one game called with Death Stranding? Now we get what the whole mailman thing is because everyone is disconnected, and look at the game takes place in the United States. And
I was seeing this video this guy made about how you explained how Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain is a masterpiece, and he explained how spoilers for Phantom Pain for those of you who have not played it in the audience. So you played Phantom Pain, right?
Yes, but let me tell you about the first part of Phantom Pain. It had problems, but the beginning part was one of the best moments of gaming that I ever experienced. It felt like you were in a horror movie. You remember you're in the hospital and whatnot? And I was playing the game, I was like, holy crap, they're like killing all these people. It's because it's not Metal Gear, it's a slasher flick. Going paramilitary style. Instead of a killer, you got a whole special forces with guns mowing down civilians just to get you.
For sure.
Yeah.
So anyways, there was a point in the video where he explains how since your Big Boss is Phantom, and how Big Boss is this hypocrite, and how like he's building this army for hire, slaughtering these people, and how all these violent tendencies that Diamond Dogs has and this paranoia has in the later half of the game. He says like how that's happening right now in the United States, because like just look at it. Because right now I'm sure you can relate this.
Go ahead, dude.
As someone who I'm a minority. I'm Latino, and I'm sure you can relate this. Like outside, like it feels like a war zone with all the rioting and all this stuff. And I 100% agree with the protesters. Like they're right. I'm sorry to get political, audience, but fuck these pigs. And like it's crazy, man. I'll send you the link through Twitter DMs. I'll send you the link to the video. It's a really good video.
Like it's a total mess in a hellhole. I've tried to get away from politics, but really, I don't want to get into political. But everywhere is political. You can't escape from it. But how they do it is wrong. Like they say, everything is political, but it's how you presented it in the story. It's not like thrusted you in the face in like one person's point of view. It can be very complex, like you said, very complex, and some people have different opinions. You have to respect those opinions and try to be the best to be on the neutral side when regarding those themes.
I think when it comes to I'm gonna be real for a second. When it comes to politicians, I think they are so my way or the highway that they're not willing to form bridges and to quote Mobile Suit Gundam, to reach an understanding and to like understand. So like in a sense, these politicians, to quote Gundam again, their souls are way down by gravity.
Way down by gravity. It's about me, and me, dude. And that's why they need to have term limits, because they think they're kings.
Welcome to the world of capitalism. It fucking sucks. We're in a shithole. But yeah, man, I didn't expect to be on this podcast talking about mecha anime and politics.
Speaking of which, Robot revolves around political themes, but we're not talking about actual politics. I was big into like following politics and current events, but it got me depressed, dude. I decided to take a hiatus from it because I thought the world's a depressing place. I get that.
It is. It is.
But it left me a lasting impact, though. I'll just leave you with that.
Yeah, I can say the same thing.
Yeah.
But I was listening to one of your podcasts earlier,
Yeah.
I'm sorry you have to live in an RV. That fucking sucks. I am so sorry about that.
What? Say that again. I couldn't hear you.
You said in one of your podcasts that you used to live in an RV for 2 years. I
Yeah.
am sorry about that.
Yeah. You get used to it.
I can sympathize.
It's a look.
I can. That sucks.
Yeah. At least you're not living in the street
Oh, ugh.
or
Man.
motel hopping. You're not motel hopping or living in the street.
Oh man, that's rough.
I know you got rough some patches here and there, because I'm black and Latino, dude. No, black and Hispanic. My mother's from Puerto Rico, by the way. But
I get that. For like Section 8 housing, woohoo!
yeah,
Fucking kill me.
dirt poor schools. But anything else you'd like to talk about?
Yeah. Are you into building Gunpla by chance?
Let me show you something. Yes, I am, my friend.
Go for it.
Because I can't take it out of the I can't take it out of the shelf right now because they're just jam packed tight inside. But
For sure.
here's one of my Gunpla I was planning to build if I get the time to.
Is that a high grade?
Yes, it is. It's a high grade of the MSA01 EXT, which is a transformable prototype called the Gundam Sentinel, which is one of the few.
What timeline is that from? Is that UC?
Yes, UC timeline between Double Zeta and Zeta Gundam. It's one of my favorite mobile suits.
Nice. Speaking of Zeta Gundam, I'm building my first mobile suit, my first
Nice.
Gunpla ever. Let me emphasize that again.
Yeah.
My first Gunpla ever. That is the perfect grade Zeta Gundam. Can I just say this was a terrible mistake as my first
dude.
Gunpla to go straight into a perfect grade. But I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Make sure you get this. It'll save your life when
nerve-wracking
building
because you have to put in like old screws, springs.
Screws and springs. Oh, you
Yeah,
got that
I got
too,
you,
thank
man.
God.
I got you.
Because let me tell you, I did not
Yeah,
have
dude, like
this, and it gave me a hard time building the real grade, a high grade of the Gundam Seed's Red Astray frame.
the Super Weeaboo Gundam.
Yeah, the one with the katana.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, fucking weep.
Yeah.
It is a good design though. I'm just memeing, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Can I just say, going back to the mecha genre,
Yeah.
listening to your podcast you did with D and Kaiser, which again, very good podcast.
Thank you.
I love how D just roasted Gigic, going like, "You're telling me mecha's not mainstream when there's kids?" I saw that and I paused the video and I was like, "Yo, D, you need to chill. You need to chill. You're gonna roast. You need to chill. Yo,
Yeah.
chill, man. Chill." But like, yeah. I do agree with D.
Yeah.
That I think Gunpla in general is a lot easier to get into, because recently I was out with the boys and I was like, "Whoa, is that?" And
Is
I
that
saw,
Gunpla?
like,
Holy crap!
yeah, is that Gunpla?
Is that
It's
Gunpla?
not even
Also,
that.
yeah.
It's not even that, and it's also like, hold up, you can also buy Gundam toys. I bought this Gundam unicorn figurine
Yeah.
for $20.
Yeah.
$20 at a Target. That's crazy. And not only that, Gunpla is more cheaper than when you compare it to other anime figurines. And I was like, yo,
Yeah.
D has a point. He has a point here.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like I'm looking at my shelf right now. It's far away. I'm looking at my shelf right now, and I'm looking at my $200 Asuka figurine from Evangelion. And when I compare it to like a real grade, like the real grade Sazabi, that's like $60 to build.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn. No, I'm like, damn, D has a point. He has a point. Yeah, again, I just want to give a shout out to that guy. That guy has done so much for the Western mecha community. It's
nice guy
it's
too.
crazy, man. Yeah,
Nice
guy,
guy.
exactly, man.
He helped me a lot with this podcast as well. He helped me with
Really?
doing backup recording footage. He helped me with the titles. He helped me with recommendations, with questions. I learned a lot from him.
Mhm.
And I'm really glad you enjoy those podcast episodes, my friend. And make sure if you make sure and spread the love, spread the podcast around, because I want to get involved with, like, I'm a fan. Okay? I'm just coming here from a fan's perspective, not from my. No, I'm not an insider. I'm a fan, and I tend to record people from different countries, people who love Mecha, like you see, like D and Kaiser, which he invited. Kaiser's a nice guy. I thank D
And like
for that.
Gun Tank as well too.
And Gun Tank is an awesome dude. But also with
I believe it.
Indie creators like authors as well that made his own Mecha series of books.
Damn.
That's what episode 2 or so. And
Shit.
it's a really good podcast. And I met some really good people. Even though Twitter's a shithole right now. Don't get me wrong. Getting all dramatic over the smallest crap. It's like you said, it supports your theory that people have emotional baggage. And Twitter's the place to let it all out.
And I think it's more toxic to this year because of
the elections, the riots.
That, and I think we're in isolation, and human beings are social creatures. Yeah. We just are, and we want love and attention. So it makes sense people are saying some of the craziest shit because a lot of people they're not connected to their social group because they can't go out very much because of especially here in the States, because the coronavirus pandemic is crazy out here, man. Like it's crazy. And like you live in the East Coast, right? Like like I'm sure it's worse over. I've been told it's terrible in the East Coast.
Yeah.
So so it kind of makes want love and attention.
So they do all these hot takes to bring out people's attention. Instead of like talking along with your friends on the phone, but hey, it ain't the same as talking to your face.
Yeah. It's these are uncertain times. It's crazy right now.
But
and I
it's a mess. But you saw that one podcast with the guy named Voidman. That one episode.
What episode was that?
I also went with Mr. Anime and Anime Night. The third one.
Yeah, I was listening to half of that when I was playing Persona 5 Scramble on my Switch, and then I passed out. I'm sorry.
It was boring. Is that one boring because we're just talking about random crap? Because Voidman's a personal friend of mine.
I was extremely tired because I had to wake up at 6 a.m. for work that day.
Damn.
And I was up till 12 a.m. and my body just passed out. I was just tired.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad you enjoy the podcast and you are a fan. And let me tell you something about because with the podcast with here, I just did it for fun, basically. Like I'm not doing this for clout. I'm not doing this to get attention. I'm just doing this so I can share my love of my hobbies and interest. And even though it's really small, but I'm glad it's gaining sort of a foundation to point the seed in. Now I'm just have to take care of the seed and the foundation for it to grow. And it's a one-man group. Okay, sorry about that. It's a one-man group, which is me. I'm recording the podcast, arranging the meetings, supporting the foundation, trying to spread the podcast as best I can. Anything else you want to say?
Two things. First things first. This is my first interview I've ever done.
Thank you.
Hey, yeah. The second thing is, I just want to point this out there for the audience and for myself and for you.
Yeah.
To quote one of my favorite YouTubers, Desmond Amofa, aka Etika. God rest his soul. God rest his soul.
Oh, you're one of those Joy-Con boy fans?
Fuck yeah, dude! I'm a Joy-Con boy, man. But anyways, there's a quote he said that I 100% agree with, and he says, "The reason why I got popular is by doing me."
Yeah.
And he says, you do you. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what, Etika, you're so right.
Exactly. Do
And
yourself.
Exactly.
That's why I did the
That
podcast.
man. That as a side note, that man was really smart,
Yeah.
super intelligent, and I miss him so much.
Yeah, his fans killed him
genuinely.
basically.
I,
He needed
I
help.
think
No
yeah,
offense.
I think it was just the fame that got to him, and like because fame is a bitch. You
Yeah.
know, it's a bitch.
Yeah.
And I really miss Etika. God rest his soul, man. I miss him every day, man. Especially as someone who's Latino.
Mhm.
He gets the beaner pass. Straight up, man. I love him to death.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah. You can go as long
So?
as a little bit longer, but let me just tell you about what you
Go
said,
for it.
because basically I'm like, do yourself. Like the podcast episodes, as you can tell, they're like human conversations, even though we're talking through a computer program named Zoom. We're just talking about being ourselves, making my guests feel comfortable, respecting the guest. You know, in some podcasts, like the big money ones, they don't feel authentic. It's my opinion though. If you paid attention to a lot of them, they don't feel authentic.
I'm gonna throw shade at the H3 podcast. It's fucking trash.
Go ahead.
I agree with anything for views, aka Chad.
Yeah,
It's trash.
trash,
Anyway,
toxic behavior, and the like. Thanks. I really appreciate you being a fan. I treat my fans with respect. Even with 1 or 2 comments on my YouTube channel means a lot.
I've noticed that. Yeah, I remember me posting a comment on the D and Kaiser episode. I was like, "Hey, really good podcast," and you were like, "Hey, man, thanks." I was like, "Yeah, dude, for sure."
Yeah, it's
Listen,
like you do the contest, like, okay, that's kind of cool. It really means a lot to me, because I'm actually a person who got burnt out of YouTube, because I wanted to do the same thing like I do in this podcast, but to me, doing a podcast is way more easier than doing videos. But I'm starting to go back and doing videos again. I got some audio recordings to edit, so stay tuned for that. And like you said, let's end this podcast. And
we went down a rabbit hole for sure.
Yeah, we jumped in the rabbit hole. We didn't walk in it. We just jumped in it.
Yeah. Actually, I mean to open up another rabbit hole, but do you watch any YouTube videos?
Yes, I do. I watch Happy Console Gamer. I watch.
Yo, he's legit. He's
one of my influences. Happy Console Gamer. He's the guy that focuses on positivity of gaming, and also he tells stories about why he loves the games and how it affects his life. I want to get true story. I tried getting him on the podcast once. I know he's really busy and all, but I can't seem to get in contact with him. But I always want to get him on the podcast because I'm a big fan of his.
He's legit. He is legit. I want to give a shout to that guy for getting me into Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Straight up. That guy, Dragon Quest is legit. Anyways, any other YouTubers you enjoy?
Yeah. Not Angry Joe, but I got a couple. Like D180 of this
classic, man.
D180, the Mecha. It's not a YouTuber, but the journalist from like Forbes, Ali Copenhagen's.
Oh yeah.
Of Mecha Dynasty.
He was on one of these videos on Mecha Talk about talking about how one of the Super Robot War games was getting an English release.
Yeah, it's really good video. Right? Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I tried getting him on the podcast, but he was interested in it, though. I know he's really busy, but I loved his interviews with various creators of the mecha genre, as well as his work on Mecha Dynasty. That made me into a robot fan in general. I love his work. I have so many YouTubers I like. Also with forgot I can name, but also you ever heard of Supreme Dreams or ROC or something like that?
No.
Let me just let me just put this down on YouTube and yeah. They make some funny videos, man.
Send me the link through Twitter DMs.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
okay,
for sure.
hold on. Because this one, it has to be my favorite. So I'll go send you to a Twitter DM, and boy, oh boy, it's going to give you laughs, man.
For me, a lot of my a lot of my favorite YouTubers I've been watching.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of Frederick Knudsen?
Frederick Knudsen, heard the name. I haven't watched his work.
Down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
He does documentaries on like internet like niches.
Yeah.
Like he did one. My favorite one he's ever done is on the topic of the Final Fantasy house. Have you heard about this one?
The Final Fantasy
you know
house?
The Final Fantasy.
Can you tell me about that one? I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, but I never heard of Final Fantasy house.
Okay. So back in the early days of the internet, these weird people thought they were spiritually connected to these characters from Final Fantasy VII. One of them thought they were Genova, and one of them thought, they thought they were really these characters, and they convinced this guy named the writer that he was Zack, and so he moved into their house, but it was like one of the people refused to take a shower, and so they smelled really awful. They were hoarders. They took all of the writer's money. Like he had like 5 stacks in his bank account, but they took all of his money for one of the people to buy like frivolous things, and then they encouraged him to steal food for the house. It's a really good documentary. I'll Twitter DM it to you. It's really good.
Oh my god!
Highly recommend it.
Toxic people. It's one of those guys of the internet has mental baggage. But
another. Oh, continue.
Basically, it's like he talks about the whole internet culture and the strange things. Interesting, but yeah.
Yeah. One of the Fredrickson's videos is that he talks about the creator of Temple OS. Have you heard? Okay. So Temple OS is this. It's like this dude who's schizophrenic. And he created this OS, and he would live stream himself having mental breakdowns because of his schizophrenia. So like he would make claims that a 4-year-old to quote him that a CIA insert the N-word here is deep throating a 4-year-old. And then Frederick Knudsen talks about like this guy's life and how he's this crazy schizophrenic person. I don't know. I just highly recommend watching Down the Rabbit Hole. It's really good. It's some really good documentaries.
Yeah. So any last words before we go?
All I have to say is to the audience listening right now. All right. I know things are hard, right?
Yeah.
I know that all of us are getting fucked in the ass financially. I get that. But to quote Tupac Shakur, keep your chest up, keep your head up, and handle it. There'll be a better day, man.
Yeah.
Promise you. I promise you that. So everyone keep your head up. And that's all I have to say. Yeah. Any last words, Omega?
Any last words besides the whole plug-in, like go support the podcast and yada yada. But I'm going to do this after I plug in, if you don't mind. Like, for those who are watching, let's just let you know this like the last minute. I thought we are going to do this next Sunday, but he had some free time, so I'm thankful for it. It's like I'm going to be busy like with life and whatnot. So thanks for him clearing the time for me to do this podcast, as well as if you love this podcast, share this podcast. And if you're on YouTube, like and comment on the video. It proves that you have support. You don't have to give money, because comments and likes are the thing to me. That means the whole world to me. And don't forget to if you want to do extra, hit that subscribe button. It's for free. And don't forget to hit that blue bell for more notifications on podcast episodes and videos and live streams, because I do live streams now too. You're free to join the live streams if you want to, because I love doing them now. And also we're facing a hard time right now. This year sucks balls. It's not a joke. It's supposed to be the year of greatness, but this whole baggage came up, and it's hell for everyone.
Yeah.
But let us just say that also don't forget to support the Spotify channel and Anchor as well. For those who prefer hearing on Anchor or have Spotify accounts.
For sure.
And the 13th Dimension Podcast is a podcast made for fun. It's not made for money. It's not for fame. It's just me explaining my hobbies and interests. And if you wonder why I keep like having people interviewing people, because I want them to feel special. I'm not just using them for a platform. I'm using them to bait. No offense. I'm using them so I can, like, as a community, can have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand, and you understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While we're at it, if you care to support me, you can follow me on Twitter at Pharos for Life, and then I'm at Bandcamp at Pharos Anonymous, where I release music. So
yeah.
Everyone, stay safe.
Okay.
Have a good one.
You too, people. And one more thing. Stay safe, like he said. And that's all for safe for now, because I'm getting kind of tired and I need to focus on packing up. So that's all to say for now. Enjoy the podcast. Sayonara. Hello, and nice seeing you again, and thank you for checking out today's episode of the podcast. And if you enjoyed the podcast, make sure you hit that like button, make a comment in the comment box below, type a comment in the comment box below the video, and don't forget to subscribe, hit that red subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that blue bell button for notifications on new podcast episodes, vlogs, new let's plays, and new live streams. And I've been looking forward to entertaining you all, and I don't want any of you to miss out on any of my content. That is all for now, and I hope you have a nice day. Sayonara.